Thank you all for coming out today. How's everybody feeling today? Hey, I'm feeling all right too, all right? I'm glad you all came by today. This is something that obviously has been a pain point in the city for a while, and we're going to be talking about the hospitality industry, what it was in the past, what it is now, and then where it's going in the future and what we can do to steer in that direction, and then get some answers on how we're going to get there, okay? I know there have been other panels, okay? Not like this panel, okay? Because this is the best panel. But the other panels were great too, okay? This will be the time where, well, let me say this. We've heard from the consumer, right? All right, we had a social media person came in a while ago and went a couple spots, and then the consumer just trashed Atlanta. Like, we ain't good out here, right? Then we heard from the business owners, right? The business owners had some panels, and they had great information, a lot of information that is needed for everybody to hear. But I haven't heard any panels or any voices from the people that are in the industry. You know what I mean? We ain't had our voice. I didn't get to say what I wanted to say. I mean, I got to say it. I got to talk to them about it. I got to probably talk to a couple of y'all about it, but we never really got to sit down and let that voice be heard to other people that can make a change, right? So that's what this panel is going to be about. My name is Terrell Patterson, okay? If you don't know me, I'm owner of Relly's Hospitality here in Atlanta, Georgia. We have this panel that's a beautiful panel up here today. Okay, can we give a round of applause for these lovely individuals here? We have Quentin Tanner. Everybody, a lot of people know him as QT. He is our management specialist up here to the left. We have Danesha Davis. She is our service specialist. We have Reffell. He is our Bacardi Multicultural Portfolio Ambassador. He's a specialist as well. We have Keyatta Mincey Parker. She is the specialist of everything, the owner of A Sip of Paradise Garden. And we have Chef Defon Robinson. He will be speaking, CEO of Edge Hospitality, and he'll be speaking about the culinary experience, okay? A couple of rules here, okay? This is a safe space. We listen, but we do not judge. One. Two, we have a kind of a different format, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to have one person come up and speak, or not come up. One person's going to speak. They're going to have 5 to 7 minutes to talk about the past, the present, the future in their category, right? When they're done with that, I have a question that was fielded from earlier when you guys sent in your emails and asked the questions. They'll have that one question. After that, we'll open up for a Q&A for that person in that industry, okay? I did it like this because I know a lot of people in this industry have short attention spans. I mean, I do, okay? So I want to ask that question as soon as the person is done, all right? After that, we ask 2 questions, 1 or 2 questions, then we'll go on to the next person. When we ask these questions, okay, we need first name, last name, industry, question, all right? I love all of y'all. We are happy that we are here, but we need to get the first name, the last name, the industry, and the question out, okay? All right. So, with all that being said, those are the rules. Y'all got the rules? Everybody fine with that? Y'all ready to get into it? Okay, so we're going to start with Quentin Tanner. Could you please tell us about the hospitality industry as you see it, the past, the present, and the future? Oh, you standing up? Go do your thing, brother. Hey, do your thing. The floor is yours, brother. The floor is yours. You can stand up. Hey, don't let them block your king stuff.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Quentin Tanner, but most of you know me as QT. Management. I got into management because I wanted to do more and be more. I started in the airport at 15, didn't know anything at all. Got into the bar business at 21. got hired by someone that's done great things at a Circle of Piano bar in the airport. She was like, you got a great smile, great attitude, you should be a bartender. I was like, I don't drink. I don't know nothing about alcohol. I don't know what a Pilsner is, nothing. She was like, I'll teach you. So from that, I got the bartender bug. From there, the staff, the biggest thing was everybody there wanted to drink, but everybody wanted to have a good time. And this was the first bar this company ever had. And the thing that set us apart was that we gave the service and the hospitality. We were the first bar that company ever had. So from there, we got contracts. We got that Concourse A contract. I'm at the time 25. And my 25-year-old self, they told me I couldn't curse. My 25-year-old self is hiring and training everyone for the whole concourse. So that's what made me have the passion to get into management. Then, of course, the company blew up, started getting contracts all over, and then my career got huge. I went off to Topgolf, Sports and Social, Rocksteady. I mean, we can go on and on all day, but this is not about me. But the thing that set us apart was the service and the hospitality. So we go back in past. The past part was we wanted it. We wanted to learn. I remember everybody knows Tiffany from Drink Masters. Tiffany, that is the god to me. I went to her first alcohol class in the West End, learning the difference between Tito's and Grey Goose and why Tito's was better. Once again, 21, didn't know anything, but I wanted it. I trained for it. Then from there, I wanted to teach. I wanted to show. I wanted to be. So the thing is, with us going back, the past part, we had the passion for it. We loved hospitality. The present, let's just say we'll go to COVID. Since COVID, things a little different. People were just hiring bodies. Everybody's like, I'm a bartender. You can watch, everybody knows, hey, stir a drink for me. I see you making soup. Okay, that's kind of bartender you are. You're a portender. Hey, what's in this? What's in that? Which every bar is different. I'm not knocking anything. I ran Sports and Social, it was 1-and-1s. From the craft bars I ran, we're using jiggers on everything. So that is the difference. The future of what I want is I want the pride to be back in it. The level is so high now. Most of our great bartenders, servers, managers have went to either become owners, starting different businesses, and going on to do greater things. But from this now, we need to have people that are invested into it. From owners, we're not hiring bodies. We're training, we're coaching, we're encouraging, treating your people like people. One thing I've been going back corporate and going back to the corporate scene as far as bars and restaurants go, the biggest thing, we want the manager to be the mayor of our business. And they want to invest into their associates. Working for Topgolf, they gave us health insurance, they gave us benefits, we all invested into each other, we drank the Kool-Aid, as they say. We were all a family together. That family part is gone. There are servers and bartenders, you guys all know. I don't want to share my tips. I'm not working with her. As a manager, we're like, well, I guess you're not getting no shifts. That's what's going on. But the thing is, we need the team players back in it. So past was the want to do things. The present, I can honestly say, is in disarray. And ever since COVID, it has been just people doing a job and not the hospitality part of it. And future, I want us all to embrace our owners, our associates, and our staff, and invest into them. First thing that most of these Fortune 500 companies do, they provide for their associates. You invest into your people, you're gonna get a great product out of it. If you don't invest in them, you will hire and hire and hire and hire. And then you have no culture, you have no leaders. I got 2 minutes. She was letting me know I got 2 minutes. I'll leave you with this. Always have a foundation. The foundation will keep your business rolling. And I mean foundation as in people that are supportive, people that are coaching, people that are there, and people that have the skill. There's a difference between a chef and a cook. The chef is creative and thinks of everything and can make anything from anything, but the cook is there to support the chef and does the job and gets things done. Thank you.
Hey, all right. Hold on. Don't sit down now, brother. Yeah, get on the hot seat. Yeah, no. So we have a question. So from a management perspective, what is the most urgent change needed in Atlanta's hospitality industry, and what advice would you give to leaders trying to build a more sustainable workforce?
The biggest change is, I would honestly say, it takes all of us. It takes the ownership, like I said before, and also the management. It's not coming down on people. It's not taking advantage of people. And I'm not saying be a pushover and tell them like, oh, everything is great when it's not. Like, for instance, a lot of my management style is like I'm the dad. I have teenage boys. And the workforce now is that generation. So it's explaining the why. Before, hey, go do this. Cool, no problem. Now it's, hey, go do this. This is why. Let me show you. Let me coach you through it. And then they understand they're more susceptible to do it. So it's more so investing, like I said before, investing into your associates. The management style of the retaliation, that has to stop. Oh, you didn't do this, or you didn't you're showing favoritism, whoever. I've had people that were my best friends work for me. I've had my best friend be my boss, my roommate. I messed up, fired me. And we still had to have dinner that night. We're in the house, hey, what kind of pizza you want tonight? We have pizza every Friday. What kind of pizza you want? Same pizza we always get, what you talking about? We had a beer, had a whiskey, had a great time. But at the end of the day, he was my boss. I messed up, I got fired. Are we still best friends to this day? Absolutely. No animosity. A lot of my friends have worked for me, do work for me, and from that, I've always treated them with respect. If they messed up, I let them know they messed up. They did great, I let them know they did great. So, that part of it.
All right. I like that.
Is that it?
That was good.
That's the only question?
That's the only question right now.
Okay.
Hold on now.
I almost sat down.
We have Zeta here. She's going to come around. Did everybody hear what he had to say? Yeah? Does anybody have any questions for him or the management part of the industry? This is your time to ask anything that you would like to know. I know we know everything, but today we don't know everything. Okay? Oh. Questions, comments, concerns? Oh, there we go.
Gotcha. My name is Isaiah Tomlin, bartending in Atlanta over 20 years, managing clubs, bars, whatever the case may be. My question is to stop the revolving door of hiring. Mm-hmm. What would you, if you had to pick a point or two, what would you pick as things that you would look for to try and prevent the unnecessary hire? Like you said, some people are hiring bodies. Uh-huh. Instead of hiring those bodies, are there any points that you can give a hiring manager to say, okay, these are some of the things that I absolutely need, and these are some of the things that I absolutely do not want on my staff?
It depends on the concept, and I've worked a wide range of different I've done clubs, I've done bars, restaurants, mom and pops, corporate, you name it. So it depends on the concept. So for instance, I would say for a Topgolf, have you guys ever heard of the Topgolf hiring process, the dancing, the whipping, and the nay-nay? So basically it's a party going on, and you walk in and you're like, what is going on? So we don't hire you because you can dance or because you're partying. We hire you because you can interact, because you can talk to people. When you break off in new games, that you can be a leader, but not a me monster. A me monster is taking over the group, doing whatever they want to do, saying, hey, we need to do it this way instead of working as a team. And I can honestly always go back to the Topgolf model because it was unconventional, but it made you realize what you need it. Is that person coachable? Was what we always ask. I'll probably interview 5,000, 6,000 people. Are they coachable? If they're coachable, you can teach them anything. If they're not coachable, if they're set in their ways, if they're the me monster, they're not gonna be good for the culture. They're not gonna be good for your business. And that's a lot of times we run into with older associates or people that have been so experienced, whatever. Hey, at this place we do it like this. I'll say, well, at this place we do it like this. This is the standard. If you cannot follow the standard, please go back to that last place. So it just starts with, are they coachable? That'll be the short answer to it.
All right. Look at there. Okay.
So,
Thank you,
Question
QT.
right here.
We got one more question for you.
Oh, you want to hold it for me? Okay.
State your name and occupation and
Okay, my name is Toki. I know a few of you in the building. I am a bartender. Been bartending for probably 15 to 20 years now, almost, give or take. And I would say coming out of COVID, trying to get back into the swing of things, nursing myself back to proper health, and I'm very happy to be here. Some of the things that I really find discouraging in the industry, especially today, I see a lot of, I noticed that there's a lot of carrot dangling when it comes to trying to get, especially very high-end talent. I consider myself to be an extremely talented curator of cocktails, bartender, and of such. What I mean by that is, I believe you have to pay to play. If you want that proper talent, I see a lot of saying that we're gonna pay you X, Y, and Z, and those things don't come to fruition. I would say also, I see a lot of, I'll just say, people usually don't quit jobs, they quit managers.
Okay, that's that's true.
So I just wanted to put that out there. I've
Okay.
in the between time from 2022 maybe until now, I've ran bar programs where I did not get paid for running a bar program, or that I was promised something, certain things or benefits, or seen them advertised as far as we're looking for X, Y, and Z, and those things don't come to fruition. And I find that to be extremely aggravating
Okay.
and
Real
discouraging.
quick, hold on, before we get sidetracked, did you have a question that's for QT here?
I'm just making a comment
Oh,
in
okay.
relation to
Well, we do have
management.
to.
And it's good
I'm
to
sorry,
see
we
you.
do have
It's
to
good
get
to
back
see
on
you
track.
too,
I'm
Q.
sorry.
good to see you, girl.
I'm sorry, we gotta get back on track. I'm so sorry. Okay, thank you so much. Okay. Now we're gonna move on. Sorry, we do have to be on a time crunch here. We have huh? Oh, we gotta be on time now. We ain't here all day. Okay, so next up, thank you, QT. Thank you, everybody. All right. Our next person up here is Danesha Davis.
hello.
She is our service specialist. So, Danesha, please tell us about the hospitality industry, how you see it within your realm here, the past, the present, and the future.
Well, hello, everybody. Once again, my name is Danesha. I'm a service specialist, hospitality specialist in a nutshell. I have been a part of a lot of openings here in the city, from Atlas to South City Kitchen, Rocksteady. I've worked my way from the host stand, every front of house position, up into the F&B director's office. Something that definitely from the past that I miss is that work ethic and the idea of understanding every part of operations before you even get to a leadership role. I think we're definitely lacking that. This day and age, there's a lot of management, there's a lot of owners, directors that don't have the proper skill set, I believe, to be in those positions. And I think that makes it harder to have the proper staff that you need. If you can't do what the bartender can do, it's gonna be hard to gain their respect. And and the higher end talents that we need for these establishments, it is going to be harder for them to be hired if the people that they're looking to as their leaders are not equipped. Something else from the past that I miss is structure, training. I may sound old and washed when I say this, but what happened to binders and training materials and taking a test before you get on the floor or before you start making money? We definitely need to, I understand that, COVID took us to a different place, but we're 5 years later now. We need to bring back plain old training, before anyone can make any money, they have to know what they're doing in the establishment. I think right now as well, we are seeing a fusion and a mix of different styles of dining. And I can understand how that can be a little confusing when you're bringing in structure and professionalism. For example, you'll have a high-end food in a casual style restaurant with lounge aesthetics. Now, running an establishment like that, it's gonna be hard to train and teach people just the core of hospitality, especially if you don't even understand your concept. For the future, I would definitely love to see the separation a little bit more in the concepts of restaurants. You have your fine dining, you have your fast casual, you have your lounge, cocktail bar. I think there needs to be more separation between them. I definitely think that, like I said, structure and training definitely needs to come back at the forefront of hospitality.
All right. I like that. I like that. You got to get that training going. I know we hate to hear it, and I know we all top guns out here, but you got to get that training. I have a question for you. Let's see. You've worked across various areas of hospitality, right? Whoa. You worked across various areas of hospitality. What's the most important lesson you've learned, and how can it be applied to push the industry forward in Atlanta?
I think the biggest lesson that I personally learned, professional boundaries. I have, like I said, I've gone from the host stand to management and leadership position. And, when you're working with friends or people that you're close to, and then you become their leader, there has to be boundaries set in place. And I think a lot of us have lost that. There is I know that I have failed when I've been in a position of management and I'm out with my staff engaging in recreational activity and then coming into work the next day expecting them to be on time or even paying attention during lineup. Just those, setting that boundary. I know there's a lot of access with social media to your superiors or your leaders, but I think that people in those positions should definitely make sure that there is those boundaries and those lines are set up front so you can have a professional environment in your work.
You know what, that's good. I do. What do y'all think? Should, and I know this is for me too though, but should the employer of the restaurant or the bar or the hotel follow on social media? Yeah. Y'all shouldn't be friends on social media? Yeah, okay. Oh. Hold on. That wasn't a question, but hey, we're going to get you a question. Now you got a question.
State your name and occupation, please.
My name is Dr. Alfonso Ebui, and I have a lot of respect for you all in hospitality. I've done almost every area of it, even taught it. Now I'm an interior designer because I wanted to be happy. So, but when Facebook first came out and we were managers, it was a big discussion, should employees actually befriend, their managers, and so we came up, that's when I was with Rare, which is now Darden. I work for Longhorn Steakhouse. And so we came up with, the template saying, no, you can't be friends with people on social media. And it helped out because, at Chili's, a lot of things happened to where there was fraternization, and so that's when fraternization policies came out. And, at Cheddar's, I've just seen a lot of things that I probably shouldn't say with the microphone, but the answer is no.
No. All right, general consensus is no then. Okay. And then we're going to come to you.
Your name and occupation.
Or,
Jonathan McKinney. So I do think that there should be a separation between social media and personal life, but there is, in this day and age, with social media and with the transparency, I do think you should have a professional profile and a personal profile. So personal profile specifically for friends, family, people in your close circle, professional profile because A, we are a marketing material for our bar, restaurant, lounge, et cetera, and that should show a cohesiveness between our team. So whether it's reposting material for your lounge, bar, restaurant, et cetera, and just showing that unity versus like your own personal page that you keep with your personal contacts. Obviously, you don't interact with that professional page. That's more for transparency stage, but for your personal aspect, that's for what's within your close-knit, and at least in my opinion.
okay. So basically, no, one, all right? And two, if you do, get that second page, okay? We have a question over here. We're coming over there to you. Now, with these questions, remember to state your name, first name, last name, occupation, and question.
Hi guys, I'm Courtney with Spirit and Soul. Just a counter on what you guys are saying. I think that it depends on your concept because there's definitely bartenders and mixologists that are recognized for the role that they play and the crowd that they bring in to those establishments. And they also have, their personal social media account available. So I don't know. I think it just depends on the concept.
Okay. And then her back here. Thank you.
Name and occupation.
Hi, my name is Sinitra Heath. I am in the entertainment, performing arts industry. I'm specifically with Broadway on Bankhead. We're a theater. And so this question is for either Ms. Davis or QT, I think. There was like a service concept that was mentioned, like there's a couple different types. I wanted to find out how do you differentiate those and what would you say is a marketing strategy for service and hospitality because it's not a tangible thing sometimes. It's kind of one of those, I can show you better than I can tell you. So just wondering if you have any tips on that. Thank you.
Wonderful question. She's part of the NW Northwest Business Association with me. Okay. Thank you for coming out.
So I would say that, I'm sorry, I couldn't barely hear your question, just to make sure I heard it correctly. The marketing strategy for different concepts.
Service. How do you market it?
Well, there's a couple. I heard experience in the back. Yes, of course, the experience. But the experience can mislead you. There are a lot of influencers. I can pay $3,000 to make you feel like we have the best food and the best experience in the world. But it's really mid. So what I would honestly say is, depending on your business, and I do like what you said as far as having a personal page and a professional page. Because legally, if you have a private page, guys, and you're out drinking, doing something crazy, and your manager reprimanded you for it, you can sue them. That's your personal property if it's private. If it's public, that's domain. But I would honestly, I would say from the knowing which one is better. If your business is more of a dinertainment, like the merges that we have now, the dinertainment part where the entertainment's why you're coming, then advertise and post all day. But if it is a word of mouth thing, which, if you guys have businesses, If you don't have social media, you won't be in business for long. That's just the way it is now. Emailing, texting, mail, whatever that is, doesn't work anymore. So you, at some point, have
I got y'all here.
you have to use social media. But once again, as a business aspect and a personal aspect. So for instance, you're in theater. If you have a big show coming up this weekend, you're promoting it all week, all month, at least a month out, month and a half out for that. You're in the production or you're a part of the production, you should be posting. The business should be posting.
All right, my man, that's right.
Am I
That's
going
right.
too far? Sorry.
Yeah, you're getting
Okay,
deep in there,
sorry.
buddy. You're getting deep in there. But yeah, so basically, to answer that question, you should, how to show all the time is you are a representation of your company all the time. Everything you post, everything you talk about, every conversation that you have with anybody that you talk to, that is showing your hospitality, your expertise, and your service. How do you sell service? That's all I do is sell service. I don't have any physical product. You know what I mean? But all day, every day, I have to try to be my best at all times because you never know who's watching. You never know who's looking. You don't know who your next client is. Okay? Now, I do see some hands. We're going to get back to those. Write those down because we got to get to the next person. All right? Coming up next, no, just kidding. We have the man here, the myth, the legend, Nathan Reffell, Bacardi Multicultural Portfolio Ambassador. He had those cocktails in the beginning for you all. Thank you, sir.
Well, hey, everybody. So I've been in the industry for 17 years myself, so I speak as a bartender, but also as a brand person because, honestly, I've been in both worlds for about half and half now. First thing I want to say, though, that this is not an Atlanta issue. This is a global issue. COVID had a lot to do with it, but it was a problem that was even before that dates back. And I think back to my bar career when I started. I come from the days of TGIF Fridays and Bennigan's and like these corporate hardcore training classes. So the person that trained me came from TGIF Friday. She was the national trainer. So there was always a standard and there was always a culture of what we've all been talking about, hospitality. And in a lot of the major cities, we always had those luminaries or those bars that we can go to and look at those people and say, hey, this is the bartender that I aspire to be. This is the level of service that I expect when I go to a bar. And when I'm speaking here, I'm speaking to black-owned businesses, and I'm sorry because I'm talking to all black people here. All right, so when we talk about Atlanta too, I've just been here for 4 years, but I immediately realized when I moved here that Atlanta sets the standard for black culture. So seeing what's coming up in the next couple of years, it's very important that we have a standard and that we establish a culture. And because of COVID, not because of COVID entirely, but when COVID happened, we lost a lot of the mentorship, we lost a lot of the leadership. They either went to another profession, they died, they just went elsewhere. They maybe stepped up in their career, did something different, opened up their own business, but we don't have these people in manager and ownership positions anymore. And, we need that. And so now we have a lot of younger bartenders. There's so many people that I hear, they came in during COVID, during 2020, and they've been tossed into managerial positions. They've just been kind of faking it till they make it, which is great. Most bartenders do. But at the same time, if you don't have a foundation of hospitality and what you really, what we're really trying to do, we're serving people. That's at the core of it. We serve people. We make people happy. So many bartenders in Atlanta don't have that. They don't have that focus. They don't see this as a profession. This is a profession. This is a job. This is not just a job. This is something that you need to take seriously, that you study. I still study for. I still learn and open up books for. So, it's not cool to not know what you're talking about. There's a lot of bartenders that don't do that. Presently, as well, also one more thing on the past, brands didn't do a very good job of supporting communities. Coming from a brand perspective, I'm the multicultural brand ambassador. That's just now becoming a thing. In the past, most brands, they go into black-owned businesses, they do a swipe, and they get out. All right? What we do, what my team does, we educate, we consult. There's so many things that you can use these brands to do to elevate your business, to elevate your personal brand that we weren't doing. And now you have that opportunity, we have that opening, and that's my job. It's not to come in and give you money. I deal in partnerships, not sponsorships. So presently, we it's really up to us to identify these mentors, identify the leaders in our community. Let's elevate them, and let's have some of these younger bartenders listen. Keyatta's over here. We need more of these. We need to clone Keyatta, the Tiffany's. We need to identify those people because they're out there. They're out there in Atlanta. I see them every day when I go out to bars. There's some great, talented bartenders out there. We need to elevate them and put them up as well, too. Am I good on time?
Oh,
1
yeah.
minute? Yeah. All right. So anyway, in the future, we have to ask ourselves, what is the standard and is there a culture? So we have to establish that. And please, utilize these brands. All right, I work for Bacardi. Our job really is to be involved in your bar and restaurant and the success of it. Training is huge, guys. We have decades of experience between our team, our advocacy team here. It's not just to spend money. Yes, we want our brands to look good, but most importantly, we need your bars, we need our bartenders to stay open. We need experienced bartenders that can explain the difference between Tito's and Grey Goose. All right, so
Look at that.
utilize your brands. All right, we're here for you. I am the multicultural brand ambassador, so we're trying to work with you guys. It is a huge asset. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, sir. I would like to say, yes. I would like to say our company works with a lot of brands, and one of the main things that we try to push for is educationals and other things than just the parties. Like, parties are fun, events are fun, right? But you still have to implement, you have to learn something. If you're gonna ask these brands for stuff, have a return of why they come in. I know everybody's events are lit, trust. I've been to all y'all events. I try to make it to all of y'all events. They be lit, but it also has to make sense for both sides, okay? Just think about that. Thank you. But I have a question for you, sir. Fielded from everyone. Diversity and culture play a huge role in hospitality. How can the beverage industry better support multicultural representation and inclusivity in Atlanta's hospitality scene?
We have to encourage it, and a lot of brands are running away from it. But I think, we need to reward the spaces that are inclusive of everybody, that people feel comfortable with. That's the kind of places that I focus on and target, because I want, my LGBTQ people, my Hispanic people, my Asian, I want anybody to go to a bar and feel comfortable there. And so I think brands really need to be at the forefront, even though a lot of brands aren't. But yeah, we need to try our best to, and then also as owners too, we need to look at our spaces and say, hey, is this a place that's inclusive of everybody? Does everybody feel comfortable here? Because I think that's the key to prosper. If you want to prosper, you need to get everybody in there. It doesn't really matter as long as they're spending money, to me.
That's right.
So
Business owners like that too, spend that money.
Yeah, but like I was pointing to it as well again, really hiring people that are also like-minded as well too, having people that can speak to a wide variety of audiences, and having a very diverse crew of people on your team, on your bar team, or your whatever team that can speak to many different people and from different walks of life. It's very important to have diversity on your staff.
You must have diversity. Everybody hear that? This is a very diverse room. Pretty diverse here. Okay. Different parts, Yes.
Different parts of Atlanta.
Now, I just want to throw one stat out there, just so you all can know, switch it up just a little bit. I'm gonna ask a question. Do you know how much Atlanta generates in the hospitality sector each year? directly supporting 41,000 jobs. How much money y'all think it is a year? Nobody? How much? 57 billion? Okay. Okay. Oh, million? Billion. Okay. Look, because this is Atlanta. No, close. 5.1 billion. Okay. It's a billion. Billions. You know, once you're a billionaire, you're a billionaire. So that's a lot of money. That's a lot of events. That's a lot of multicultural people. That's a lot of service. That's a lot of management opportunities. 41,000 jobs. And that's just in one portion. That's like 6% of Georgia's GDP. All right. It's here in the hospitality industry just for that. I just want to drop that knowledge on y'all just to get you a little more information. Thank you, sir. Now, does anybody in the crowd have a question for Mr. Nathan Reffell here? Oh, we got one. Remember, first name, last name, question, we'll get an answer for you.
Jonathan McKinney. My question is, how do, obviously, Nate, you've been in Multicultural and you're with Bacardi, but how do we prevent some of these bar and restaurants from being handcuffed to some of these portfolios or these brands that are out there? I know across the city we could see, let's say, for example, Casamigos is everywhere, but they're not bringing support back into the city. So what are we doing to keep some of these restaurants from being handcuffed to a brand or to a portfolio?
That's tough. It's a lot of it's money. You know, some of these owners rely on the financial support from a lot of these bigger brands. Diageo is huge, man. It's the biggest company in the world. So there's not a lot we can do when they're pumping in a ton of money. I say focus on the value of what that brand brings to your bar. I know we as Bacardi, we're a family-owned company. A lot of people think we have a lot of money, but compared to like Moet Hennessy and all these other, we're pretty small. What we focus on is relationships. And me personally, my passion as a brand ambassador is to really see personally bartenders win in their role as a bartender, to build themselves up in their personal brand. And we have these amazing premium brands, Grey Goose, all this stuff. It's great, but I really would love to see personally bartenders win. When it comes to a bar, though, I think really it depends on what they want. Do they want money? Do they want a quick spend, a quick swipe? We can all do that. If you want education, if you want us to come in and consult on your menu, if you want us to try to get people in the building, you name it. Like we're trying to help them out using our brands and win together. So, you know, Diageo may be trying to check something off the list. We need a certain amount of cases moved. That's cool. You know, take the money and run. But as for us, we are trying to grow along with this bar. We want our brands to shine there, but more importantly, we need you guys to shine as well too, which is why I'm, sitting here, because I want bars to win here in Atlanta. I want bartenders to win here in Atlanta. And then we all come up together. Our brands do fine when our bartenders are happy, when our bars are happy. So.
Okay. That's a good one. Do we have any other questions for Mr. Reffell here while he's here? I mean, he's here for the rest of the day too, but I'm saying. No? Oh, we got one over here.
Hey, how y'all doing? My name is Jamie. My question is, what are some of the things that, as a brand ambassador, do you not appreciate that either restaurants or bars will do? Just from that perspective. Like, what are some of the things that you guys wish they would do?
Oh, yeah. How much time we got?
Real stuff.
Honestly, just the cash
real
grabs.
questions.
Just thinking that we're a piggy bank. Like, the least that you could do, if you're looking for a partnership or sponsorship, is look up our brands. Everybody thinks like we're just a rum company. We have every major category we have a spirit for. And the least that you could do is just be like, hey, love Bacardi, I love Grey Goose, I love Douce, I love, Patron. Can we do something, we sell a lot of it here. Can we do something that you guys can support and get behind, or we're doing something? So to me, just do your research. Like, instead of just be like, hey, can you sponsor this birthday party this guy has, We're so much more than just, money to support the bars. We want to support your bar, obviously, financially. We want to make sure that you guys are in a good place whenever we partner with you. But at the same time, we sell this. Like, we are trying to make money ourselves. So, like he mentioned, like, you know, if it's not a good look for us, we're not just buying product for you to have a party. We want to actually, you know, sell our product and promote it in a way that people actually come to your bar and buy it. So that's the biggest pet peeve for me. But then also just bartenders trashing brands as well too. That's any brand in general. It's not your job to trash brands, it's your job to sell them. Yeah. So, you know, be careful what you say about something because you never know what it means to somebody that's sitting in front of your bar. I'm not a fan of Tito's, but there's people that will kill me if I'm behind a bar and I say Tito's is trash. So just be careful what you say, because a lot of bartenders also don't have the knowledge on that spirit category. If you're gonna trash something, you better be a damn good expert on that product, especially tequila. That's the biggest one that I have beef with. So those are my things.
Yeah. Watch what you say. Nate gonna get you. He gonna get you. But yes, I will say to piggyback on that, not piggyback, but I want to make a statement. When you guys are reaching out to brands, if you're doing an event, I think if you're doing an event, because people call me a lot, and I thank you for all your calls too, okay? They call me a lot and they ask sometimes to, you know, do I have a connection with brands? Yeah, of course I have connections with brands, right? I worked a very long time to get those connections too, right? But y'all asking for them to just bring out cases to your event, like, just go buy it. You know what I mean? Especially these smaller brands. Like, if I'm doing an event and it's a smaller liquor brand, it's 4 bottles, I'm gonna just go buy the bottles, man. Buy the bottles, maybe even post it up there. Hey, man, look, I'm at this spot. Boom, I got 4 of these bottles on here. There you go, send it to them. It don't take nothing, it's $100, okay? But you never know how long that goes. You might have to do it for a year. You might have to do it for 2 years. They might have the money, they might not. So it has to be reciprocal, right? It has to be a give and a take, not just a take, okay? All right, anyway, had to make sure I said that. I wanted to say that today. Next up we have, oh wait, do we have any other questions here? Everybody's good? Y'all got all the answers today, don't y'all? Okay. We have Miss Keyatta Mincey Parker, CEO of A Sip of Paradise Garden, and a lot of other things. She will let you know.
Hi, everyone. Can y'all hear me? All right, cool. Hi, everyone. For those who don't know, my name is Keyatta Mincey Parker. I'm the founder and executive director of A Sip of Paradise Garden, which is a nonprofit bartender's hospitality garden in East Atlanta Village. We have a second location in East Point. We're opening another location in Kentucky in 2026. And someone just granted us land, so we'll possibly be opening another location in Vine City. We're growing. I am also the Chief Curating Officer for Pictures and Cocktails. It is a luxury brand that I curate events for mocktails and cocktail experiences for whoever has the money, because I am expensive, so no shade. So I've been doing this since I was 16. My first job was a hostess at Po Folks, if anybody knows what Po Folks is. Right, yeah. I was a hostess at Po Folks. I actually came the week before my 16th birthday, and the general manager, William, told me, you're too young, come back when you're 16. So I came back the day after my birthday, and I got hired on the spot. I worked there for a month, and it was one Saturday morning, and everyone that was supposed to show up to serve, something happened. One girl got into a car accident. Somebody overslept that was supposed to pick somebody else up. Like, everything bad that could have possibly happened. And there was one server there. Her name is Dee Dee. We're still friends today. And I was hosting. So my general manager, Betty, came to the front. She was like, Kiki. They called me Kiki back then. She was like, Kiki, I need you to take the smoking section. Also showing how old I am, smoking section. Right. Right. And I was like, well, I mean, she was like, you smile at everybody, you know the menu, you're smart, you can do this. And I was like, okay. We got slammed.
But in that short time, the other people eventually came in. People like were late, came in and came into the fold. That Saturday afternoon, I made $250. Now in 1995, that's a lot of money. And it is a lot of money now. But I never, after that, I only wanted to serve. And I was good at it. I was young. I was funny. I made people laugh. I was optimistic. It made sense. So I've been doing this for a long time. I've been a bartender for, my daughter will be 23 in 23 years in October. So I've been doing this for a long time. And I think for me, the past has always been about pride. Because even back, if you think to slavery days, we still had pride serving massa. We did. For one, we didn't want to get beat, but you wanted to put your best foot forward. You wanted to serve the best. You wanted to be the best. There was pride in getting up, working because you had a job, you had these things. And for me, I miss that. I worked with, as far as my bar mentors, I had Eric Simpkins, who I had to work with him for 2 weeks with a notepad before I even got behind the bar and touched the bottle. That's the kind of training that we come from. No shade to the people and what you're doing now, but I think current day, I think you all have to do better. You have to want it. You have to make me feel like I am worth spending this money in here. Because there are so many places in here I can spend money at, but if I'm not feeling like I'm worthy or if I'm not feeling like I'm served, I'm not coming back. To this day, I still have people who when I used to be in bars, still check in on me and still all those things. I've had people that's followed me from bar to bar to bar. In fact, my accountant now and my lawyer were both my regulars at Serpa. As far as the future's up to you. If you want to be here and do this, do it. If you don't, you're not doing me a service for staying at a job that you hate, because I feel like you hate it, and I feel like you hate me too. Mm-hmm. So let's just be very honest. There are lifers and there are temporary people. If you're temporary, perfect. Put a timeline out. I'm gonna be here for 12 months. I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna work on this, I'm gonna go to school, whatever. But if you're gonna be a lifer, like I am, and we are, come with it. Because we don't have to sit here and take what's being given to us now. I think that's it.
Okay. So.
I didn't mean to be mean.
So. Okay.
I didn't mean to be mean.
Hey, you better come with it, because I'll tell you, if you was working with me, I'm taking your table if you ain't hit it in 15 seconds.
I was that manager.
You ready to fight on the floor. I used to work at the Strip. You know
I would send you home and work your section. Be like, yeah, you know what, you can go home. I got you.
Well, I have a question for you.
I love questions.
Try to pick the hardest one I could find.
Of course you did.
Innovation is key to progress. What new ideas or strategies do you see shaping the future of hospitality, and how can industry professionals stay ahead of the curve? I didn't mean it to be hard.
Yeah. So, I think innovation is something that's constantly evolving. So I think if you keep yourself with the trends and current trends and don't necessarily stay what's popping in Atlanta, what's happening in DC, what's happening in New York, what's happening in Cali, what's happening in London, what's happening in Africa. I think if you keep yourself up to date with trends everywhere, I think that'd be a big step to it. I also think community is important. One of the reasons the Sip of Paradise Garden has been so successful is because we foster community. I hate talking politics, but we're not gonna make it through these next 4 years without each other. Like it's gonna be baptism by fire. So I think we need to go back to things like, even simple, like, I'm gonna put them on the spot. I belong to a girl group called Drinking with the Girls. It's 7 girls. 2 of them are here, the other one's at home, one's in London, other one's probably at work. But we hold each other accountable. We support each other. We come to each other's events. We run drinks by each other. We run ideas by each other. We have a group chat where it is foolishness. Like, it is straight foolishness, but it's ours. But that's something that keeps me happy to keep going. So I think if you can, one, see what's happening around the world and not just in your bubble, you can get ahead of the curve. And I think if you foster a community for yourself, you'll win. Was that good? Yay!
I got a harder one. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Thank you.
Don't ask me to add nothing.
Do we have any questions? Yes. Okay, here we go. Zeta's coming on over to you. Remember, first name, last name, occupation?
Oh, right there. You
Right here,
missed
right here.
it. Right, missed it.
My name is, okay, you didn't make them stand up. Yeah. Sorry, I'll stand up. My name is Bo Jameson. I am a freelance bartender and a health and wellness specialist. One thing that I heard all of you say that I resonated the most with was basically paying your dues, starting at the bottom and working your way up. And I feel like I'm in a place where I meet a lot of young people who ask me, oh, can you get me a job here somewhere? How do we reestablish that culture of paying your dues without hazing, if that makes sense? Because you're not going to step right behind the bar. And I really don't want you to, because what's going to happen when we get in the weeds, right? So starting as a hostess, getting thrown into the fire, being where you are now, how do we get our new blood interested in working that way?
That's a really great question because so many people DM me, can you mentor me? Great, but they don't follow up. I'm not chasing you, I'm busy. So many people reach out and like, hey, can you get me a job with such and such? Great, what have you done? I'm not putting myself on the line because the relationships I've established for these 30 plus years I've been doing this are valuable. So as much as I love and support us, you have to draw a hard boundary with people because what you're not gonna do is be like, oh yeah, that's Keyatta's friend. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And everybody in here knows me, no, I will be like, that's a no, no. But I think we need to create those boundaries. I think we need to just implement the standards, but take away the hazing part. Because again, you don't have to talk to somebody crazy to get your point across. You don't have to yell at somebody and berate them to, like that culture is dead and buried. And I'm sure you being a chef, yeah, I've had a few chefs yell at me and I've thrown plates. Like we gonna fight in here.
That boy kicked over the bottle.
See, there you go, huh? Okay, security. But I think that's what it is. I think we just need to take it back, but we need to take the hazing part out of it, like you said, because again, the hazing part turns people off. And also, no shade, both my children are Gen Z. They different. Like they're real soft.
They big
and
soft.
I take full responsibility because I wanted a better life for them. So yeah, my bad.
There's one thing that you could do too is what I used to do, because I have a lot of friends, all of you, and some other ones too, is people would ask me to get that job, like you said. By the way, love that sweater. Okay, I've been looking at that all day. I'm like, what the heck? So I just did a thing where I don't refer you to work anywhere I work at. But I will tell you, yo, so-and-so just got fired. They looking for a server. You better come up in here, turn in your application, and get it done today. The manager is here till 4. His break is at 3:30. That's all I got for you. If you can't do that, brother, that's all. And we don't need to know each other until you're done with training.
Right.
And then when you're done with training, now we know each other, but I didn't get you the job. I got,
Right, but
some
even
old
the
sketchy
follow-up,
friends back in the day.
even the follow-up of that shows me that you want this, as opposed to, oh, my friend got, no. I do not. I'm not a friend to you if I'm letting you do this.
Right.
I'm a friend to you if I'm telling you, that was really messed up. I put myself out there and you embarrassed me. So you in timeout.
Shoot,
I
back
love
in
putting people in timeout, just a heads up.
Look, back in the day when I was bartending and serving and all that, when you referred somebody, if they got fired, you got fired.
Ooh.
Straight
See?
up. If you,
See?
you brought them in, they fired? Sorry, man, you got to go. What?
Yikes.
So, well, that was some here to serve stuff. They not here no more, but it was a lot of
Can
money.
I jump in
Just
real
let you
quick?
know.
I do want to say that, like, post-COVID, there is a culture of people jumping jobs. And there's too many bartenders that don't, you have to invest in, like, learning about what this job is before you jump into it. But then also, they're not staying long enough. A lot of people want to go, oh, this is a great program, blah, blah, blah. And they don't give it the time for them to actually take in that culture, take in that what the job entails, and they jump to another job and just leave it all behind. It costs money to train people. It costs time to train people. And so if you have somebody that's asking you for a job and they're constantly jumping from job to job trying to look for a paycheck, you need to ask them, like, what exactly do they want out of it? you know?
And that looks bad on your resume.
It looks terrible
Like,
on your
if you
resume.
can't- If I'm looking to hire you and you've only been here for 3 months, it's one thing because one place might be a bad fit for you, I get it. But if every job you're not there past 6 months, why would I invest my time and money in you?
Exactly. At
Yeah,
least a year.
The only places you can work at stuff like that, you would be like a good fit picking up shifts, you know.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we do if you guys need
know
to
what?
have any of those. Shameless plug out here. You know, if you can't keep that job working all the time,
be a
I have
banquet
some
bartender,
events,
man.
and we can work. We work hard, but not every day. Oh, we have a question here.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Adiosa Kumbi, founder of IO Hospitality and also co-owner of Chef Academy, which stands for Culinary and Hospitality Enthusiasts of the Future. I'm also an adjunct professor at Georgia State University's Hospitality School and a former alum of Georgia State University.
Okay.
So I know a lot of the conversation has revolved around especially mentorship and training. And as someone who trains young individuals from high school and getting them to culinary positions in the food on the food side. On the beverage side, I have a number of college students who have chosen this as a career, who are ready, who I am teaching them to understand what it means to, work your way up and start as a hostess and all that kind of thing. What can the beverage industry do better to partner with these institutions of higher learning when they have already decided they want to do this as a career? Because I know I've made a lot of inroads in terms of working with different venues and establishments and on the food side, but on the beverage side, there hasn't been that much. So I would love to know better ways we can partner for those that want to train, that want to learn and have chosen this as a career.
I think that would be a great opportunity for brand ambassadors like himself, because he comes with those dollars and the whole platform and the whole booklet to train you. I think for individuals like myself, it may be hard because I am independent and I don't stand behind the business. Even though Nate could bring me on as a person to speak, like if somebody wanted to do something else. But I think those bigger conversations need to happen with brands directly and approach them with that. Again, you're an educator and a Nigerian woman. I see you. I remember, sis. I remember. I think those bigger opportunities, because Georgia State will recognize a Bacardi. They're not going to recognize a Keyatta unless someone knows me. And people think I'm famous, but I'm famous to maybe about 5,000 people total in the world. I'm not really famous like that. So they wouldn't necessarily want me as that thing. But again, I think opportunities like with a big brand.
We have partnerships with FIU and certain
Exactly.
hospitality schools around the country with Bacardi. So, if there's an opportunity, that's a conversation that we could definitely
went to
have.
your
It's
show.
a giant conversation, but that's absolutely a great opportunity to have something here in Georgia. We have the ambassadors, we have the people and the experience to do it.
And the dollars.
Yep. Also, to piggyback on that, I'll talk to you kind of afterwards too, because at the end of this, we're going to speak about what we have coming up next, moving into the World Cup and all that type of stuff with trainings. So I'll talk to you about that too. All right. Well, do we have another question for Ms. Keyatta? Or are we good on time?
I just want to say I really appreciate your perspective. It reminds me a lot of, my days. And for you, when I was with Athens Technical College, we created an apprenticeship program. And so basically they got college credit because you're going to have to work that, because Georgia and liquor, it's a nuance. So just something to think about. Yep.
All right. One more. We got a question here.
My name is Tony Williams, and I am a commercial real estate broker. So I specialize in local businesses for the retail environment. I find it very interesting to see local and industry like Grey Goose. I see the programmatic between both of you all. I think that's what's needed in the retail space right now. That's what wins. It's just that brand identity. And I think right now collaboration is key. And I think it makes that human approach. And I would love to see what is coming on for innovation in that realm of how do you bring local to industry, and any ideas for that.
I think that's great. Thank you, Tony. We're working together in the future. Thank you. So that's one great way for collaborations. But I think also, one of the hardest thing with me and my business partner, Tiffany, is that we never get hired here. We're always flown out other places. My city doesn't hire me. And it's a little, at first I took offense to it, but I think the message is out and social media is present, so people are seeing it and then they're DMing you. I think when people see the possibility, I think that elevates the opportunity.
Mm-hmm. All
Look at
right.
me, and I'm
There you
reading
go.
off for 3 hours
You
of
better
sleep.
be. You better be seen. Okay. All right. We're going to move this on. We have. I'm gonna give you one more fact. Let's see. What do I have here? So, out of all of the okay. So here's one big thing. When we're talking about hospitality, and the first, all of you, and then you too, the numbers are higher than COVID. I know we're going all the way back to COVID, right? We're leveling out. But statistics show that 2025, it's projected that 50% less people will be going out to these restaurants and bars, okay? So that's just a stat for y'all to understand how important it is to have hospitality from the front and the back, because if you leave in your house and you're going somewhere, you want the best experience possible, okay? And now you're fighting against new restaurants popping up every other day, okay? Just to throw that out there for y'all. Okay, we're going into my guy here. We have Chef Defon, CEO of Edge Hospitality. Okay, he's going to answer questions about he's going to talk about the hospitality industry in the culinary field, past, present, and future. Please introduce yourself, sir.
All right, good evening, everyone. It wasn't rhetorical. Good evening, everyone. How do y'all feel tonight? So great to see everyone here, because the goal of this is to really capture the voices and the perspectives of the industry workers, and that's why I'm so happy to see as many faces that we have, and we've been pleased to be able to share this information with you guys, because we've been able to, guys and gals, because we've been able to have the privilege of working in the industry for a very long time, and part of this conversation is, part of what we're doing is what needs to happen, and is a part of the reason we're in the present. For my background, I own my company, Everyone Deserves Great Experiences, also known as Edge Hospitality. My passion called me earlier on, and I took a different path, and I eventually landed on it. And it really speaks to when I landed on it, it really speaks to part of the problem that we have, and it deals with qualification. And it comes from the perspective of the individual that is looking for the job, as well as the people that are levying the jobs right now. Because we're in a space where people that own the companies that are hiring, they don't have hospitality expertise. They have at-home expertise based on their experiences. Whether you make a lot of money or not, whether you drink a lot of wine somewhere and you dine at the best restaurants, you do not know how to run a restaurant. And we're in a space where we have people that have capital that are running restaurants based on greed. We'll get to that in a second. So my background, very different from most hospitality people in the industry, but mine always starts with passion. I've always wanted to be a chef when I was a child. I went to Morehouse College for my degree in biology, pre-med, biomedical engineering, a 4.0 GPA, minor in math, not in the whole thing, hold on, not the whole thing, just math, all my math classes. Nonetheless, I left Morehouse, I graduated Morehouse, and then I went on to Indiana University for my PhD in molecular biology and genetics. I left there with my master's degree and went to work for Johnson & Johnson in pharmaceuticals for 5 years. I made a lot of money, great money, you know what I'm saying, and what people would consider the dream job. I literally was at my aunt's house today, and she was just kind of saying, Defon, you've really just done your own thing with food. And she was like, I was just looking back when you were a child, and no one in the family would have thought you would be doing what you're doing now. She was like, as a matter of fact, when you left Johnson & Johnson, we all thought you was on drugs. Why would you make all that money and just leave? But for me, one of the things, when I made all that money, I had capital, I had a home in Alabama, and I was able to do all the things that I could, and I was 24 years old, making six figures, $25,000 quarterly bonus checks. You understand what I'm saying? And so at that age, I was able to get a taste of what success was. And for me, I wasn't happy. I was fulfilled in a job that I was great at, but it wasn't my passion. Long and short, I left that job, and I started waiting tables. The hardest job I ever had to get was waiting tables. I had a master's degree, I had a bachelor's degree, I had a corporate experience, taking a financial portfolio from 17 million to 20 million as a 24-year-old in 2004. When I went to go apply for a restaurant, they was like, no, you do not have experience. The only reason I got a job was because my friend knew the manager. That does not exist today. That was the past. That brings us to the present. That doesn't exist today. People are hired because we have people that run restaurants that only want to make money. So they will put someone in a space. They will not give you the platform for training, proper training, which takes us to the conversation that we were kind of talking about earlier that you all mentioned. You have people that are on the floor, whether it's front of the house or the back of the house, and they don't have the wherewithal. You don't have a formal training program. When we all started, we all at least went through a week of training before we hit the floor, before we hit the kitchen. And those are things that are absent in our present. And it's not just COVID, in my opinion. For some reason, when catastrophe hits, it somehow finds its way to Atlanta. And I feel that it initially started with Katrina. And it's no dig against any level of catastrophe that happens that brings people to my wonderful city. But we get people here, and people don't leave. No problem, because I understand why you're here. I came here for college and didn't leave. But at the same time, you bring some of those problems. And when it comes to the service issues, because I will not allow it to rest on the shoulders of the Atlanta food and beverage industry, because I've been here from the beginning and I watched the change. And so we've had Katrina, and then we had COVID. That compounded more issues, people not having work, more people coming in. But at the end of the day, we got to get to the future. So as the future, you have to own your space as the creative entrepreneur in hospitality, be it cooking, be it bartending, be it managing. You have to own that space. And in order to own that space, you have to do the proper training. I did go to Georgia State. I was a part of the inaugural program for the Hospitality Administration program with Dr. Soon Kim. I was a part of that first class. I did my certificate in hospitality administration, just to circle back, just to raise a point that you have to go back and qualify yourself. Doing the work isn't enough. You got to make sure you step up and you present yourself as the best offering for what you're trying to do. And as Kiki said, if you don't mind me calling you that, if you're going to be a person that's on a track to be in and out, then you don't necessarily have to do that, but own your track. And when you show up, show up. If you don't want to show up, then get another job somewhere else and get to the next part of your track or find something else. And so that's the end of it for me. It's just kind of really owning your space, being that consummate professional, and really, really putting into it what you want to get out of it. Accountability is number one, because most people don't have accountability. And I'm going to leave it at that because we got a question to answer, and I want to stay on schedule.
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so since he was saying that, accountability.
Hold on now. Whoa. We let him up. That was great.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, I got a question I got here for you. With rising costs and staffing challenges, what operational changes do you believe restaurants and food businesses must adapt to remain competitive and sustainable?
Wonderful question. I'll segue back to myself and being someone that I started in, again, a high dollar earning career, right? So no thing about me, since I've started, I love money. Everyone does. I don't think I love it any more or less, maybe a little bit more. However, I love money so much that I will figure out ways, using my creative, using the skill sets that I have to achieve goals that I want. During the pandemic, so to answer the question of what are ways that you can overcome the challenges, given the financial things, given the state of where America is with the orange man in the office, right? The things that you have to kind of understand is you have to be more creative about your positioning, okay? The thing that I did during COVID, identifying the challenges. During COVID, a lot of hotels were short-staffed. They didn't have people that could work. One thing that I did, I identified that need. The Candler Hotel is a historic hotel here in downtown Atlanta. I understood that there was a need. I created a program that would give them a food and beverage department because they had no one that would come to work. So I came in as a consultant and took over their food and beverage program. So you, number one, develop yourself as a professional, and then you kind of team yourself up with great mentors, as we spoke about, and you come up with creative programs. You don't have to necessarily team yourself with the mentor to execute the program, but use your mentors to get the wherewithal, take their best practices, and implement them and incorporate them into what you do, and you create a professional presentation and present it to the establishment that you're interested in. And I had a program with the Canada Hotel where I brought my entire black staff in there. Never, and this is a Hilton Curio property. You understand what I'm saying? And so you have to leverage yourself against your talents. But when you're doing that, like I said, make sure that you're educated and you qualify. Not necessarily in school, but qualify yourself. Am I the person that's supposed to be in this position? And don't say you're supposed to be in that position just because you've been there for years. Be in that position because you applied yourself in that role. You've taken on the leadership roles. There are plenty of people that are scared of leadership, and it's fine. You just don't need to be a leader.
That's right.
There are plenty of people that have the skill set, but don't know how to communicate. You just don't need to be a leader. Understand where you are and benefit and grow from there. And that's pretty much my nutshell. I can keep talking, but I just know how to cut myself off.
I was going to get you, brother. Don't worry. Okay, so I guess that does answer that question. All right. We do have a question out here, and then we're going to come to you. We're going to do the gentleman back there, lady in the front here. I ain't saying y'all names.
You holding it? Hey, hello. Hey, my name's Jeremy Hill. I'm a sales executive at Cintas. So I came here tonight to kind of hear you guys' experience, and then also to meet other people in the industry as well. One of the things that I feel like I am challenged with when it comes to us, if you know what I mean. First of all, getting in the door. It's a little, as a salesman, it's kind of hard to get in our doors sometimes. But once I get in there, what are ways that I could, I guess, elevate the experience at being at kind of like a mom and pop soul food spot, or like a small kind of sandwich spot, like over in West End. What are some of the things that I can speak to as a restaurant owner, as a hospitality expert, that kind of will hit those heartstrings to let them open up to because Cintas is a big company, so as soon as sometimes they hear Cintas, they say, oh no, I ain't spending no money, and it's like, well, we do have a program that's catered to your budget that basically can help elevate your public image. So can y'all speak to that?
You say you were Cintas? Yes. Oh, I had a gentleman from Cintas actually come into a restaurant that I'm consulting today. We're considering using you guys, so great double exposure. In my opinion, and when it comes to how do you increase your exposure, or?
Well, so basically, how do I connect more with the business owners, in terms of elevating their business, but not necessarily, we don't have commercials, we don't have, you know what I mean? And so when they hear a big name company like mine, they're like, oh, no, we can't, we used to doing what we're doing. So can you speak to that?
I think one of the big things is there are a lot of restaurant owners and people that work in the industry, like you said, and they hear that name and they think dollar signs. I think it's about really figuring out how you can leverage your image and positioning to meet people where they are in your initial conversations. You meet the businesses where they are so that you let them know that you're not that overwhelming when it comes to the cost, because they talk about, the guy that came in today, he really talked about the services that they offer. Fortunately, in my case, the restaurant that I'm working with, they have that type of budget. But when it comes to the smaller establishments, if that's what you're going after, you definitely want to make sure you leverage the value. What's the value add? When those type of smaller businesses, it's 100% going to be value. As we're talking about rising costs, labor costs, and all these types of things, the cost of eggs, of course, those kind of things are not going to be at the top tier. People will wash and do everything at home. So you really got to lean in on the value add and why it's important. We know why it's important, but why does it make sense for them? The higher ups, are there rebate incentives? Is there something that you can give in terms of a give back or a rewards program, so to speak? Loosely using the word rewards, we're not kind of really attaching it to that. But for smaller businesses, you have to be able to meet them where they are because they don't have those dollars.
Well, thank you.
I'm sorry, real quick. Also, I think a personal touch, if you can be face-to-face with them more and not just one-off, I think that'd be good. Establish a relationship.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. It's all right. We have Eric.
Hello, guys. My name is Erica Moore. So my question to you is, I know that you own a restaurant group, and my question was about how do you stay hands-on with scaling leadership from different levels? You can give a quick synopsis on that, but I'm currently like figuring out like the leadership part of wanting to expand. So more so like how do you balance that for the multi-level leadership structure that you have?
Oh, wonderful question. Edge Hospitality is a full-service catering and consulting company. So we do full-scale consulting, and it's right in the lane of what you're talking about. There's a restaurant, Storico Fresco and Buckhead, as I mentioned. That was a restaurant, was one of my first clients. Pietro and I are really good friends, and I did that. That was one of my clients. I consulted them from head to toe. And when it comes to the hierarchy in terms of leadership, you want to make sure that everything is tiered and everyone understands. And one of the primary things, and that's very general, but I'm going to build it up. One of the number one things that you want to make sure that you have is a roadmap. And part of having a roadmap is a training manual. And that is a huge deficit, and probably I would go on record to say 98% of the restaurants here in Atlanta, white, black, or indifferent. I work with a lot of brands. I work with the NFL directly, the Masters. So I have high-level interactions with people, and I see the things that are happening. Kelly is one of she's been with me to LA and the Masters, but there aren't those programs in place. And when you have the training manual, it delineates your hierarchy. It lets you know who's the manager, who's the supervisor, and what those things are, what those roles are. It lets you know who's the server, who's the line cook, who's the prep, and it lets you know the deliverables that you send up. Without a framework, you don't have any foundation. And so that's part of the problem that's happening that I'm seeing in hospitality now. It's nothing like it was in 2007 or 2008. You had an organizational chart, and we use that in corporate America. We use that across the board in industry, but the hospitality industry more recently, since it has a more capitalistic approach, has done away with that because the training protocols that I sell to people, they will take most anything else that I sell, and then we go back to the conversation about training as a product and how do you sell that? You sell that by word of mouth. That's what I wanted to say, but I got the mic now. Yep. You say that by word of mouth. And by word of mouth, it's by having a product. Word of mouth starts with training. The word of mouth from the management to the trainees, and then the trainees translate that to the guests, and then the guests translate that to the general population. That is the only way you can get service delineated. That's the only way that you can really get that intangible perspective of service is through word of mouth. There's no commercial. There's nothing, there's no free drinks. And so you really have to drive it in through your training and through the execution of your staff. But back to that, the training manual is imperative because you have to make sure you have a roadmap going up and coming down, up, down, left, right, and across. And those are some of the things that are missing in today's hospitality that make that difficult or make it seem unattainable or make it unclear. Because the roadmap no longer exists.
Thank you, brother.
That's
Thank
my
you,
time.
brother.
Thank you for coming out. God bless. Good
Yeah,
night.
no breaking there, boy, I tell you. That's good, though. That was good, all right? We got another question over here now. We're going to keep this answer to under a minute, okay?
I got you.
Okay.
I told you I like to talk.
It's all right. I'm here for you all, okay? Great information.
Hi, Sadia Aideen, entrepreneur, bartender extraordinaire. So this question is for Ms. Davis. Do you think, what do you think about AI, and do you think that it'll hurt or help the service industry?
Hold on, before you answer, do you want to? Okay, go ahead.
Do I think it will hurt? For now, I don't think it will hurt us. I think we could benefit from it at this point, especially like going back to what I said about training, using that as a platform or different platforms to have training more innovative. I guess if we don't want to go back to paper and binders, we could use programs or use AI to help us help staff with training and creating more structure.
No.
I think that's
Yeah,
it.
get him. Yeah. We got one more. Thank you. We got one more question for Chef Define here. Okay. For everybody? Okay. QT, you can't leave now.
Yes,
No,
sure.
I was kidding.
Can I hold this? You're gonna hold on to it. Okay. Hello, my name is Jasmine Moore. I am a bartender, an entrepreneur. I own a mobile bar business as well. But I have actually just crossed my 1 year in Atlanta. Shout out, Jasmine. Woo. And so I feel like as someone new to this area, I've been looking for new experiences to help me continue to develop my career, which is part of the reason why I came here, to just be in like the black mecca of excellence, you know what I mean? And I feel like it's interesting, like, you know, hearing you guys talk about the new people of the industry and, you know, like I think I would consider myself in that kind of tier of generation of people a little bit more green. You know, I've been doing this less than 5 years. I'm 25 years old, so still learning every day and looking to learn. But I feel like a lot of hesitations I have found have been people, you know, much more seasoned than myself, kind of seeing me as this like, you know, new person coming to the table. So I guess just, you know, from anybody's perspective, like what, and you've mentioned this a little bit in different tidbits, but like, what are you really looking for in like the up and coming like generations of people coming into hospitality? Because, you know, there's people who say like, just be yourself, like the right things will come to you. There's people who are like, say what they want to hear, but then you end up at a job that you don't actually enjoy just because you're being a people pleaser to get this role, you know? So like, what would you recommend to, you know, finding that right fit, or even just kind of like setting yourself apart to get the roles that you're really looking for, and kind of finding that balance between being yourself and kind of like, you know, being the industry professional that
Quick
you know
question.
you are as well.
Sorry to break it up there.
Sorry.
Can we just have one question?
Just
what question,
like,
what question would you like
what do you guys want from the new generation to really like show up and stand out? You know, is it certifications? Is it
Hold on.
is it interviews?
We got to let them answer. We got to let them
for
answer.
sure.
it. Can't
Thank
get an
you.
answer now. Hold on. All right, so for the next generation.
I'm going to sum it up in real quick. So one of the
Thank you.
things I'll kind of dovetail off of what Nathan said was do the work. Just like with the brands, know the industry. If you're a bartender, know the bartender side. If you're a server, know the server side. If you're a cook or a chef, know the chef side. If you want to be excellent and excel, put that energy forward. Put it in how you present yourself, put it in how you work, put it in how you communicate, put it in how you absorb criticism, and then just your everyday being, and you wrap it up in you.
I will honestly say,
right.
if you are in this industry for the money, just the money, you're in the wrong industry. You have to have
Especially
the passion for it. When I got into management, if you've been in the management before, 9 times out of 10, when you start out, you ain't making no money. But I had the passion for the business. So that's why I stayed into it and growing other people to be able to do what I've done and what I knew that they could do.
Thank you. All right, we got one more question, then I'm going to do my little portion of the panel. Go ahead there, miss. Hold on, we coming on over here for you. State your first name, last name, and straightforward question.
Yes, I'm going to be short and sweet. Hey, how y'all doing? I'm Teresa. I am a bar manager at Fellowship ATL, mixologist, many other things. I have one question. I heard Chef Robinson say about accountability. What is one thing as a leadership, because I'm coming from management and I heard people say, you know, a lot of people jump jobs because of leadership. What is one thing as a manager that we are holding ourselves accountable to? And how do we hold ourselves accountable?
May I ask a quick question for clarification? Are you talking about for yourself or for the staff? For leadership, for themselves. I think the biggest thing for leadership is listening. Listening because we already know the answers. If we are running our team, we already know the answers that we're going to deliver to them. So sometimes it takes us listening to understand where they're falling short in order to know how to supplement them to understand and keep them on the path that we want to go.
All right.
Also, be nice to your staff.
Thank you there.
That's all you got. Be nice to your staff, because if you treat your staff like trash, you won't have a staff. Respect your staff like you expect them to respect you. So it has to be some reciprocity in that entire thing. And even if you agree to disagree, there's a way to treat people. especially if you're bringing in top-tier people and that's what you want. You can't expect top-tier people if you treat them like bottom. That's not going to make sense for anybody involved. That's all I got.
You got it, you got it. All right. Well,
You can't treat bottom tier people like bottom tier.
so we got to hear from this lovely panel here. I'm going to speak a little bit about the hospitality industry too, of where I see it from the past, the present, and the future. I'm Terrell Patterson, owner of Relly's Hospitality. We are a bar staffing company here in Atlanta, Georgia, with a national cocktail competition and a new training center in the Grove Park area, okay? So what I want to talk about here, about the past in hospitality here in Atlanta. I've been here for a long time in this industry, and just like everyone said, there was a lot of training. I remember to get my first serving job here in Atlanta. I was at a place called Strip in Atlantic Station. Big money, you know. But when I went there, I went to interview. I had to go there every day between 2 and 4 for a whole week to sit just to see a manager to interview. And they didn't interview me for the whole week, okay? And that's Saturday and Sunday because I needed a job. So I finally got the interview and I finally got in. That's how long it took to get in. Then I trained for 5 shifts. Then I served for a couple years. It was hard to get on that bar because everybody worked hard as heck to get behind there. You know, they had to work hard and show up every day. And if you slip, they take you off that shift, okay? So it was hard to get in there. That's how I judge restaurants. If the person has been there, if the bar staff or the service staff been there for a couple years, it has structure, okay? I know everybody hates to hear this, but in this industry, I know it doesn't look like there's structure. There is some in places. And as humans, we really, really all want structure. If you really think about it, no matter what you do, you'll quit a job. The first thing you say, it ain't structured. If we ain't have this time on this panel, it wasn't structured. You know what I mean? So it was structure, a lot of structure back then. The challenges that shaped the industry back then was not as big now, right? It wasn't so many restaurants, so there was enough staff to staff the restaurants, okay? One of the biggest sayings one of my managers used to say is, I used to ask, why is there so many servers on the schedule, right? Well, he said, when you don't have enough servers, the servers run the schedule. When you've got enough servers, then you can have control over what's going on. If somebody's messing up or somebody's not showing up, you can reprimand them by not putting them on the shifts or move them to a smaller section. So that's why a lot of places have bigger workforce. But now you can't do that because there's so many restaurants coming up and there's no staff, okay? Just not saying there's no staff available. I mean, yes, that's what I'm saying. There's no staff available because there's not enough people because of how many restaurants are opening, okay? If y'all think about that. The present situation, and that moves me into the present situation. The hospitality industry, I love it so much, right? This is my bread, this is my butter. This is what I live for all day. What I see when I go out is just, we weren't able to recover fully. Now, I came up with this panel like, we need to have these people to talk about what's going on. It's not like Atlanta service is trash. Because if it was trash, none of y'all would be in here and nobody be making money and y'all wouldn't be driving the cars that y'all drive and y'all wouldn't be taking all these vacations. I see y'all, I be following y'all. Y'all taking all these vacations and flying all over the place, okay? I'm just saying that we became stagnant, all right? We are a global city, an international city, okay? I had the chance to go to other cities in the United States with the competition and see the inner workings of cities, right? And how they're working in the hospitality industry in different areas. Walking in as soon as I walk in, hey, sir, how you doing today? Like, the service is up there because it's so much competition to get that job. You go to New York, you can get some bad service, but the service is usually great because there's so many people per capita looking for that job. You got 100 people going for one job. You know how dope them bartenders are? You feel me? You got to pay that high rent. It just was stagnant here in Atlanta because we never shut down. And when the people came in to work, we couldn't train them fast enough, and then they came in and made money. I mean, stupid money. It was stupid money. I'll just say it was a lot of money. If y'all worked during COVID, it was a lot of money, like ridiculous, okay? So if you coming in and you don't have any training and somebody put you in a bar, somebody put you as a server, put you as a manager, and you're making $400, $500, $600 a night, and you've been doing that for a couple years, you think somebody can come in here and tell you that you're doing a bad job? You can't. How you gonna tell me, dog, I'm making $100,000 a year untaxed? I mean, taxed. Taxed, everybody. Taxed. Making $100,000 a year taxed. So that's where it was. Now moving, and that's where it is now. Now moving to the future, how do we steer where we're going? The trainings that everybody's talking about up here. This ain't a coincidence that everybody that's up here is talking about trainings. These ain't business owners and these ain't the customers. And they saying, dang, I'm just gonna be honest, we need training. You need training. I train every day. I try to learn something new every day because you never know what's about to happen. Okay? You got to anticipate what's coming around the corner. You can't anticipate a pandemic. You can't anticipate the stock market, right? But you can anticipate it's summer coming. Y'all get the summer bodies and stuff, right? Y'all can anticipate, okay, spring is coming. You guys should all know the seasons in hospitality by now. When the spring hits, they start hiring, right? Summer hits, they starting to let the trimming the fat a little bit. The fall, we get a couple more people. We have a lot of business. And then right after January, everybody go down to the skeleton crew, right? But while we talking about all that, where is the trainings? Do you have time to train? Are people training? Are y'all still doing, are people still doing the lineup? Ain't no lineup. You don't know what the special is. I mean, look, Bacardi on the screen today. So we had a thing where it was an incentive. I don't know if it's legal now, but there was incentives. You go into work, you come in a little early, you learn the rundown of what's going on, who's coming in, what's the party, who's gonna make the most money. I'm gonna make the most money. You know, past the 20. Nobody past the 20. Y'all know past the 20? Or am I too old? Okay. Past the 20, you sell the special. Whoever sells the special, you get the 20. Whoever ends up with the 20 at the end, you sell the specials, though. You get the extra 20. The incentives of the lineup and saying, like, hey, Bacardi had a thing where you were making mojitos, okay? Mojito challenge at Strip, and here to serve, right? You going against everybody. You know, I didn't think about it until now. I'd probably sold 30, 40 cases myself making watermelon mojitos that the bartender didn't like to make, okay? And then they take you on a trip. But that lineup, knowing what the special is, knowing what's going on, continuous training in the lineup, a small educational, a small wine class, taste this, taste that, this is what we're selling today. The training is big. In order to go where we need to go, we do need that training. We do need to work as a community and work as a family. We have to have the business owner, the consumer, and the worker working together. It is very hard to do it, but if you do that, if you do that, you can move into the direction of where we need to go. It might not be a month or 2 months or 3 months. This is going to take a couple years. We do have the World Cup coming. Y'all thinking about the World Cup, right? We got the Super Bowl coming. Y'all thinking about that? Is anybody thinking about the MLB All-Star coming this summer? Is anybody thinking about the test run of the World Cup trials this June? How about we just start doing all this, what everybody said, and start the trainings is the biggest thing, and stay ready so we ain't got to get ready. When people come to Atlanta, we shouldn't be trying to get ready for people to come here so it'll be cool. We should have our own set hospitality. You come to the A, this is what you're getting. I fly in from Brazil, Rio. I fly in from, Timbuktu. All right, I know I'm coming to Atlanta. I'm gonna get some sauce from Atlanta. I'm gonna get some great hospitality. It should be Southern hospitality. We say it all the time. How are we not the crown jewel of the South? You feel me? That's what I think we are. That's where I think we're going. That's why I got these people here talking to you. But with that, we do have some stuff going on. Like, we are working with the Grove Park Initiative. Okay, we do have a school that we're opening, a building that we are opening with trainings this summer to get ready and working with the city to get World Cup ready, okay? We are hosting those. We are putting together workshops. We are connecting people. We are getting the, we have an app together so we can actually talk back and forth to each other instead of putting everything on Instagram and just wondering who's gonna see it. You can directly talk to somebody if you want to. It's there for you, and I'm gonna keep it up and I'm gonna keep it going. I know y'all all seen it because I made y'all download it. Y'all gonna download it today before you leave, don't worry. But that's where we can go. That's what we need to do. And every one of y'all have to take this back to wherever you are, whatever business that you're doing, and make every day the best hospitality experience for somebody who comes through the door. If I leave my house and I take my wife, and she takes an hour to get ready, and I take an hour as well to get ready, and we taking a trip, we get in a car, we driving down to the new restaurant in town. It's 100 restaurants. I get there, the first thing we're gonna look at is the parking lot. Do you love your establishment? Next thing we're gonna do is gonna walk through the door and what? We're gonna see the host. Is the host happy? Is the host trained? It should be, the training should be so dope where it doesn't matter what her mood or his mood is, it's just the steps that they have to take, right? Then you go to the bar, okay, your seats aren't ready just yet, Mr. Patterson, but you can have a drink at the bar. I'm gonna go to the bar and I'm gonna have a cocktail. They're gonna be trained on what Nate then went up there and did, right? And told them what to get. I'm gonna have my cocktail, and when I leave, they ain't transferring. I mean, they not just gonna make me close my checkout, right? They're gonna transfer the tab. Mr. Patterson, we're gonna transfer that tab onto your table. Oh, thank you so much. I go, the server, doesn't matter what his mood or her mood is, right? It's the steps of service that everybody gonna get. The chef, food better be fire. Okay, I take my lady out, you know it's a couple hundred. And that's the experience I want. I want the table busted before I leave. I want to pay that money and get out. Because this is the only industry, everybody, where you walk into the building with nothing, spend a whole bunch of money, and leave with nothing. Right? Think about that. You don't have no bag, you ain't got no shoes, you done blew 105, depending on who you out with, okay? This is not digs, I'm just saying that's what we do. We go out, but leave sleepy, you know, and then in this industry, people go to another stop or two, right? That's the nightlife industry that you frequent. But if you have these trainings and people just do it, then you have an identity is what we are looking for, okay? But just imagine that whole story and it's just mid, everything was mid. I'm not going back to your restaurant. I'm not even gonna tell nobody about your restaurant. Actually, we didn't even go out. All right? Then you added the grad on there, and for what? Now, if you put 20% on there, that's cool, but you gotta give me 20% of service. When I worked out here to serve, when I worked at the space, we had half off steaks. They did the gratuity, and if they didn't like your service, they take the gratuity off. And that's what it was. Anyway, that's all I gotta say about that. I just wanna let y'all know. And if y'all would like to do any other hospitality trainings or anything like that, just please reach out, okay? Now, I do have some fire questions. We have, oh yeah, I gotta have questions too, right? I can't just talk. Okay. Yes.
So how do you create a space of unification for the industry? You want a unified space. You want
Yes.
a space where we have a standard.
Mm-hmm.
How do you create that space, or how do you train for that space?
Okay.
Like you said, it's 100 new restaurants opening in Atlanta every day. So how do you create that standard?
Mm-hmm. So we had, oh, my bad, hold on, I'm gonna get you. So, Relly's Hospitality, we have a thing called We Only Know Premium. We continuously staff, and there's a lot of different brands in this room, but today, Grey Goose is here, okay? So, I speak with a Nate, or I speak with a Will, or a KG, or a Matt, y'all know the names, and we'll get an educational, right? We'll do an educational with a bunch of other bars together, right? Once we start doing that, we talk and we tell everybody. It has to be that togetherness, that community. If we need a centralized place, we have a space. I mean, it's big, but it ain't that big. There's a lot of y'all in here. But we can all get on some modules. We can always do some checkups all the time, right? If y'all think about it, we're all separate out here, and everybody trying to get the money. But you make way more when you're working together. You know, it ain't make it, take it. Everybody on that make it, take it right now, because that's what it was. So if you're working together, like behind the bar or something like that, and you spread the love and you spread the money. So like you said, the hardest thing is going to be to have one centralized place. But that's why we're sitting here talking, because somebody in here either got the funds, got the idea, or got the building. And then now they have the seed. All we got to do is water it. And then they know who to reach out to. Yes?
I think as employers, you need to set the tone from the beginning, from that interview. If I'm coming to interview with you and you're late, you're a mess, you're not paying attention to me, that shows me what I'm walking into. But you also have to come prepared. Because I know back when I was interviewing for a bar job or such, first things they ask, name 10 classic cocktails in their specs. Do you have any specialty cocktails? Like, what's your specialty as a bartender? Why do people come to see you? Like, come ready. And I think community. Like, I have friends that do that. The Garden fosters that. Nate fosters that. Terrell fosters that. You need community. Like, nobody can do this out here by yourself. There's so many people who left and doing independent things, and most people are just making it. Whereas, if you choose to work with people, make sure those people y'all are equally partnered. But I think if you come into an establishment and it doesn't start from the beginning, you know what you're walking into.
Yeah, real quick, I'm from Houston. There's a bar there called Anvil that I had the opportunity to work at a long time ago. And, you know, the standard is very high there. When they first opened, there was not a commitment to that culture. And business was not doing too well. They ended up turning it around by committing to a culture of training and a standard. And now, if you go to Houston, it spread so much. You can go to any bar, you can literally tell if a bartender's been trained at Anvil or not by the way they make their old fashioned, by the way they greet you. It's so crazy. But that is the standard that we're looking for here in Atlanta too. You know, and that's really up to owners and people that really want to build a culture, to management, to everybody that's in that building to commit to having that culture. So, you know, that North Star that we're looking for it can be done, but we need people that are actually going to be committed to it, that actually are in this and take it seriously. And it's a combination of not just employee, but owners, management, everybody. And even the people that you choose to work with, your brand ambassadors, your brand people, your distributors, all of that has to come together.
I would like to say, oh, yes, go ahead, yes. Hold on, she's coming over. While she's doing that, I would like to say, if you are a business owner and you are opening up a restaurant and you have never been in the industry, either do these, one or two, okay, either do save the money, don't spend all the extra money on the bar, and get a trusted consultant and get your training together before you open the doggone doors, or open like you've been, and then call me later on to train you, but you're closing anyway. Okay? You're closing anyway. But do it the other way around. Like, do you really need a $50,000 bar? Save some of that money and then give it to your staff when it's dead. You know? Go ahead, sorry.
Okay, hi. My name is Gia, and I'm a brand strategist, graphic designer, and food photographer for food and beverage brands, hospitality industry. Okay. So I'm kind of on the outside inside of the industry a little bit. I love food so much. I want to take pictures of it. I want to stare at it on my computer all day. But as a patron, a regular, I definitely have a few places where I'm a regular at. I've just noticed, you know, the industry has definitely been a little wild, wild west, you know. And I think there is something to be said on the other side, too, about managing and communicating the expectations that we should have as customers, too, because it's a little wild, wild west on that side. Like, at the moment something doesn't go right, you know, people might start wilding out, or it's like, oh, you know, 20% gratuity, why is this here? People are mad about it. That's something people are talking about all the time, right? So can somebody speak to managing and communicating those expectations for people on the other side of the bar, the other side of the table?
Come out with that pocketbook? No, I'm just kidding.
All right, so with the management side of things, I've worked at many places that were 20% guaranteed gratuity. Of course, legally, if you don't want the gratuity, we have to take it off. That's the law, that's what it is. Anybody tells you different, sue them. I'm gonna say sue them over and over again. But from that, it's really a consumer thing. Like for instance, we're going through this right now in this country and we're deciding who we're gonna spend our dollars with. If somebody is not putting the standard of what we expect for our money, then why are we spending money there? I don't care if it's your birthday. Hey, we're going to fill in the blank for my birthday. Hey, the service has been terrible. The food is questionable. The drinks are expensive. I'm not going. Happy birthday. That's the way it needs to be moving forward. Because I know right now all of us, we're guilty. We will go. We will go and we will spend money and hate it. I'm a person, I work constantly all the time. So if I go out and spend my money, I want it to be a great experience. I go to the same probably 3 or 4 places. I know I'm gonna get a great experience from that. So with you loving food and taking pictures and we love you. You make our food look way better than what it is, but it takes us backing it up. In Miami, 20% gratuity is normal. I have no problem paying 20% if the service is there.
All right.
But I'm an average over 20% tipper if the service is excelling that.
Okay.
So ultimately, it's up to you guys.
All right. That's right. You have something you want to say?
Yes, I have something to add.
Hold on, before you answer that. After he answers this, I'm gonna ask another question if you guys have one, but then I have some rapid fire questions. You know, we got like 15, let me see. We got about 10 minutes, okay? So go ahead, answer that.
All right, so really quick for your question again, how do we manage the expectations for the guests, right? I think that the onus is 100% on the owners and on us. We manage our guests by executing seamlessly. You can't expect, as dovetailing off what QT was saying, we can't have the expectation that someone's gonna come and spend money with expectations. You're not gonna have that on me. I'm not coming to any space with an expectation on me and I'm spending $200, right? So we manage our guests by making sure we manage our team on this front end and the back of the house so they get a consistent experience every single time. So when they get a consistent experience every single time, there's no question as to why you don't even have to put gratuity on the check. I came up in the day where, as a server, there was no gratuity.
Right.
You know, so I managed my guests through my service. I've always gotten additional tips. I've always had, you know, and again, back then, it was always a successful thing, but the only way you can do it is the best way of putting it is by doing your job and doing your job well when it comes to the hospitality profession.
Yes. So, we got, hold on, wait. Yeah, okay, go ahead. We're you and you. We're going to answer these pretty quickly. Then we're going to do
Again.
rapid fire.
I have a comment and a question. So another thing that comes to be another theme that continues to get talked about, or at least touching on a comment before about what managers can do to hold themselves accountable. One area that I know that I teach in is hospitality law. And one of the things that I have come across is the fact that the environment in which, you know, these individuals are working with, there are things that management can do better in terms of creating themselves as being an employer of choice. We all have our stories, but the true question is really just knowing from you guys in your own personal lines of business, what do you guys do for your employees that make them an employer, that can make you an employer of choice? Because one thing that ends up happening is I get calls and conversations about, you know, a business owner hesitating to let go of not a poor performer, but someone who is actually a high performer, that they have done something that compromises the integrity of the business. And a lot of times they'll say, oh, it's so hard to find good people, but what we're missing as owners is that good people will leave if you let bad people stay.
Yeah, gotta cut them loose.
So outside of cutting them loose, what are other things that we can do as business owners to make ourselves employers of choice so that it is a good working environment?
So I
Lead
know,
by example.
yeah, we try to lead by example. I know some people have worked with us. I want the best out of you, right? I'm a black company, and we have some very, very nice clients, and I want the best out of you. If you can't bring it, I can't have you. And if people look at me like, oh, you know, some people even say, you know, you about to work with Terrell, you better make sure you want to work with him, okay? But I try to pay great, on time. I expect the most. I have these trainings to try to keep them up to date. And if I gotta let you go, I'm gonna let you go, straight up, and no hard feelings. But to be a business owner and to hold people accountable, you gotta let somebody go. Like you said, if you keep them there, the other people gonna be like, well, he ain't got no structure, because it's structure. He ain't got no structure, you can do whatever. You show up late, you show up 5 minutes late, if everybody there, sorry, you gotta go. Like, you late. Why are you coming to an event late anyway? So, sorry, she got something.
Also, every time I've managed, I've led, I'm never going to ask you to do something I won't do.
Yep.
So if you, and that's one thing people say, like when I used to manage, I never fraternized, I treated everybody the same, it was the same across the board, I never berated anybody in public, but it's just that level of respect, because one thing I can say, I want to say maybe 90% of the jobs that I've ever had in my life, I can go back to, no questions, and get a job. Because I left with, I gave them everything and they gave me everything. It just has to be a dual respect. You can't make me feel like I'm just anything. And also, everybody's replaceable at the end of the day. So if you're not coming in here hot, again, people are always looking for jobs. But if you're not, you know.
Okay. Thank you. Hold on, we're gonna get to this one because we run out of time, okay? And we got these rapid fires that people that called in, okay? Called in. People text in. You have your question? She was trying to find you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Inez Goodwine. I'm a bartender here in the city. My question is, coming from the bartender standpoint, what about the bartenders who are taking the initiative to educate themselves, to get the trainings, to do the things, and try hard to lead by example, but are struggling to find a good bar home? Because I feel like also with several places opening, the companies don't take the initiative to actually care. Or you could be coming from a place, I was somewhere for like 3 years. I left because I was doing the things and the management felt like I was trying to take their job, but I have no desire to do that. I like to create dope drinks, give cool experiences, and share my story.
I'll say one thing, I know they got an answer for that. Sometimes, I hate to say it, sometimes you're bigger than the establishment. So you either gonna have to keep doing your thing on the side and know that you gotta work somebody else's dream to get to yours, and you gotta do that training to get into their system so you can make some money. At the end of the day, it's still a job no matter how dope you are, and if you wanna make the money, you gotta fit in somebody's system. Like, I have clients, I gotta fit in their system, okay? So sometimes you're just bigger.
Yeah, what I gotta say, and what I see in Atlanta is that people wanna work for companies and not work for themselves. You are building your own brand, all right? So like, this is a mutual thing. You're working with this company, but you still have to work on yourself as a bartender. And that's another thing going into thinking about, like, this is a profession. And people that are sought after here in this profession are going to be sought after. The people with skills are going to be the ones that are skilled. I can name some people off the top of my head that I know they can get a job anywhere or they'll be sought after. Look at Keyatta. Look at Tiffany. I know I've been coming up with it. I've seen their careers. Like, they are sought after. So you have to continue to work with that. So yes, there's a lot of bars that are subpar. I've worked at a lot of subpar places and made my money, put my head down, and just kind of moved on. But at the same time, I was building my brand. I've always built myself, and I've always taken my regulars with me as well, too. That's another big thing is being a bartender. You have the opportunity to take people that love you and appreciate your services and take them wherever you go.
Always have integrity. When somebody ain't looking, when it ain't going your way, when you got to work in a spot that you don't want to work, still do everything how you would do it if it was yours. Because, again, you never know who watching. All right, now I do got some. Huh? Where? All right, so, what, is there a question or?
Yeah, there's a question back here.
Oh, behind the pit.
Behind the pole.
Could you state your name?
My name is Jamal Rashad. I'm a barman extraordinaire on all capacities. And I feel like at the end of the day, like our objective is to provide service. And we have to start understanding that we are here for moments like this to simply support. And that's it. In addition to holding each other accountable, as well as acknowledging authentic desires to curate advanced strategies and opportunities to present realistic solutions that will provide results, are specifically geared towards evolving and obtaining pure elevation that can be verified from a global industry perspective. In addition, I feel like, my question for y'all would be, what would you all suggest the initial steps to execute and cultivate that? For example,
Wait, what's the question? Straight question, we got like 5
what
minutes.
would you all suggest initially to execute and cultivate opportunities for higher advanced, experience?
Higher event experiences?
From all perspectives, management, culinary, bartending.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Y'all have an answer? Okay.
Real quick, just get involved, man. You gotta
Get
keep putting yourself
involved.
out.
But
Put yourself out there.
Respectfully, I'm very involved. I've worked all across the nation, from New York to LA to Houston to Miami to Montreal.
Okay.
To the
Okay.
Caribbean.
International player.
You know what I
Okay,
mean?
brother, I see it. Okay. But
Yeah.
you are involved. You got to get more involved in where it counts. You got to see where, you got to anticipate the trends that's coming up and put yourself in those positions and where it is that you need to position yourself. Okay?
You want to position yourself in spaces that leverage yourself as a thought leader, right?
Yep.
So you want to put yourself in spaces that give you experiences, that give you the wherewithal to be an expert.
Yeah.
And as a professional, just kind of learning how to seek those spaces out or seek out the people that can help you get to those spaces.
All right. Thank you. So we got just a couple questions real quick, and then we're going to end this thing out. Rapid fire, that means five words max, because y'all sentences is long, but I tell you. Y'all do not be talking like this in no bar. Okay, so QT, 5 words max.
You want me to say 5 words?
Boy, you got a couple times, all right? So, no, that's a hard one. That's a long one. We're going to go to Keyatta from the Mezcal Man. Says, I have some questions about the tone of hospitality in Atlanta, about the quality of service that match the prices that guests pay. Too many times they're paying $18 to $20 for a margarita with low quality products and ingredients that diminish the value of the products received. I have some questions. So what do you think about the expensive cocktails with cheap ingredients, like people just throwing a number on the menu about a cocktail?
I think it's the money
5
grab.
words
I
less.
think people who are running these bar programs need to know how to cost the drink down. I can cost the drink to the penny.
There you go.
I think you need to know how to do that, and I think you need to have these proper margins instead of trying to gaslight people and charge $30 for drinks that taste, you know what I mean.
Trash. Thank you. Okay, we'll do a couple seconds, not 5 words. All right. Nathan, Reffell, Goodness in a Glass, LLC. In what ways can independent wine educators gain more public interest and awareness of their businesses and offerings with minimal resources and aid, generating more business? Ooh, that's 30 seconds.
Nothing to do with the wine industry. I've been spirits all my life, but I do know there's a big community here. My first thing would be is reach out to these distributors. There's tons of wine distributors here that have the connections. And then there's also a lot of organizations, Society of Wine, and WSET, all that. So, there's a huge community here in Atlanta, a lot of black wine lovers out here, too. So I suggest just getting involved in the community. But, yeah, I'm not really a wine expert, so.
It's all right. Thank you. Danesha, luxury and high-end hospitality have set new standards in Atlanta. What lesson just one lesson can all hospitality professionals take from luxury service to improve overall guest experience?
So setting your standard and sticking to it. From both angles, from your employees and from patrons. Because I've seen a lot of patrons dictate the standards in establishments, and the certain establishments are not standing on, business.
Okay. Well, thank you. Well, everybody, I would like to say thank you all for being here and contributing to this discussion. This I hope that you all take this home. If you take all this information that you had and implement it somewhere in your life and somewhere in this industry. I really want this industry to be great. I really do. I want people to get that Atlanta feel when they come here, okay? If you guys want to reach out, all my information is here. If you guys would like to donate to us, the Relly's Foundation, to keep events like this free and low cost, please, a couple dollars is always great. Also, if you guys want to do any trainings, please reach out to us. We are connected directly to the World Cup, and we do have some associations that we work with that'll get your businesses in the database to even work for the World Cup. Are y'all even y'all got businesses? Are y'all in the database? All right, brother, I'm watching you. But you interior design, you Gucci, you good. But I would like to say thank you all for coming out for that. I appreciate your time and energy and your passion. Let's elevate this hospitality industry together. And remember, the main thing to get to the future is to everybody working together, okay? And if you see somebody slipping, help them up. Don't let them play you, but help them up, all right? Thank you all. If you have a wonderful day, okay?
Those eyes, man.